What's up guys, Joe here. I'm a habitat designer with Whitetail Habitat Solutions alongside Jeff, Dylan, and Kevin. I hope everyone is doing well today. We are back on the farm. We're a couple weeks from our fall food planting. Wanted to give you guys a quick update, show you what we're doing. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you've been following along, welcome back. This is kind of the next update video when it comes into the late summer, early fall. I want to show you our buckwheat right here. It's going pretty well. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, if you've been following along, we've been dealing with these glyphosate resistant weeds. We have our half buckwheat, and then we have a lot of our clover down there that we've been basically mowing and trying to get established just for a portion of the plot and the trail. We actually spooked a deer on the way in here just a minute ago. But that's really because on this property specifically, we are trying to build a deer herd. We have okay numbers around, but for this farm and being, mostly fields and farming when I took it over, they were more scattered around to the cover and the surrounding neighborhoods. Island hopping is kind of what I like to call it. So we are going to, anyway, so the clover, that's kind of there to help establish that summer herd so we can have some larger deer numbers to get things a little more proportionate. And we'll talk about ratios maybe in a later video. So anyway, the buckwheat is looking pretty good. I'll get the exact date and put it up on the screen here when I planted it. And you can see it's a little light right here, and it continues well and goes all the way out to the holding plot and goes all the way back a little more for our linear trail. But it's growing pretty good. You can see on the inside of where it's thick, it has shaded out most of everything. Okay, but you can still see, like here, for example, there are this mare's tail and this glyphosate resistant weeds tucked in here. And similar to last year, my concern is when I went to crush all this down, that it wouldn't go down very well because we have too much of it. Now, in some places, these weeds will be much taller, and that will kind of prevent the buckwheat from, laying down very well, and these weeds would not die with the glyphosate spraying. When we came through, sprayed the gly over our seeds for our fall food plot here in a couple weeks, it would give much too much competition. And so that kind of forces me to come back, kill off this buckwheat, but also with 2,4-D, with the 2,4-D, so this mare's tail and some of these other weeds die off, so that we have little weed competition when it comes to our fall food planting. If we did not do that, our fall food would have too much competition, and it really would struggle to come up at all, because this stuff's already easily a foot taller in some areas as far as these other gly resistant weeds. So today we got the ATV out. We're gonna throw our Packer Max cultipacker on here. We're gonna push down this buckwheat in the areas where it will go down okay. And we're gonna spray gly and 2,4-D over the top of it. We are gonna wait for that residual to wear off in a couple weeks, and we'll be probably right after the first week in August to maybe second week of August. Look for a good rain. We're gonna come back, we're gonna put our fall food down, and we'll talk more about that later. So let's hop on the ATV, let's get pushing this stuff down. You can see some of our switchgrass bordering our buckwheat there. Switchgrass on this side of the clover. A little taller in some areas. This is the second year, but we're also just in July, and a lot of this will still grow even a little bit taller as we get through August. So we'll hop on here and we'll get started. It amazes me how much the different soil types can affect things like this, especially with the no-till system. I mean, we have areas of excellent growth, and you can just tell the buckwheat smashes down very well. And then we have areas of mediocre growth where we're still getting some soil, improvement and organic matter and all that good stuff, but it's just not pushing down very well. The stalks aren't, really thick and stocky with moisture to break very well. They're kind of thinner. And then we have areas of little to no growth. And that's why, these amendments, especially lime, are so important, because lime should come well before fertilizer. If we don't have decent soil and we haven't limed when needed, our fertilizer isn't going to be useful, and you're looking at wasting that fertilizer and money anyway. So don't be like me. Get your lime down as soon as possible so that all this other stuff builds on each other and works as well as possible for you, and you're not wasting any time. So basically right now I'm going down and I'm hitting all the really tall spots so that when I come back and spray for me, Glyan 2,4-D, I'm going to be able to hit all these weeds, and the buckwheat's not going to be too tall and blocking some of the spraying, which would push me back even further. So we'll wrap this up. We'll go get the sprayer on. Some of our tallest buckwheat, well over the four-wheeler. All right, guys, smashed all that buckwheat. Kind of forgot I was doing a video, not gonna lie. So I finished it up. I just sprayed all the plots. Sorry, there are turkey all around me, and it's distracting. So I came to actually do the plots, or excuse me, the trail here, which you can kind of see through here, where we were just looking at those turkeys. You might be able to see one back there, and ran into a little dilemma. This guy. I swear these trail maintenance, as most of you know, is probably just as much as the food plot and all the other work that we do. But I'm gonna let the rest of that food plot sit. We're gonna try and get a good kill on it. Hopefully any buckwheat that was still standing, the 2,4-D and everything, got to the bottom, and those other weeds that we needed it to. And again, wait a couple weeks, 1 to 2 weeks at least, and that's fine, because that's when I want to plant anyway. Make sure we got a good kill. Now when I do put the seed down, 1 of 2 things, or both. One, can still spray glyphosate right over the seed, not a big deal when we're planting. And 2, if some of you guys like to just touch the surface without messing up too much of the ground and touch that soil a little bit, you might have seen that little drag. I'll show you in another video coming up, but a while back, if some of you guys seen, I put some pretty hefty lag bolts, and I just redid it so they're even thicker. And I basically just an inch and a half on the bottom of the ground, just to break the soil up a smidgen. Those soybeans and peas, being bigger seeds, they really, to get good germination, need to be buried, an inch and a half, something like that. So if you're working on hard pack stuff, keep that in mind if that's something that you need to do. But I have my grandfather coming out here for the first time, actually, in a few years, so since I got the property. So I'm trying to clean these trails up and running into some problems. Give them a little spray down or mowing in some areas, but I hope you guys are enjoying. It is for sure food plot season in full swing. We'll be out here, well, I'll be out here in a day or two, and then again in the beginning of August to put that seed in the ground. So it's exciting. I hope you guys are finding success, and we will see you in the next video.